Hi, John. It's great to be here with you. It's Kelley from Foxglove Project, John Kalenzi from AEE in Rwanda. Right now he's in Kigali, but it's going to be great to hear from you. Let me just tell the listeners, having some issues with internet, sometimes there may be a delay. It may even drop out, but we're going to do our very best. John, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Kelley.
Hello. Tell us a little about yourself and AEE.
Yes, I'm Kalenzi. I'm team leader of African Evangelistic Enterprise. I'm married. I have 2 kids, and I've been team leader for African Evangelistic Enterprise for the last 12 years. It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's actually great to talk with you too. Look, John, I mean, we're all being impacted a lot in the developing world or developed world when we're talking about COVID-19. The impact has shut down our whole economies, and it's shut down, schools and a whole lot of except for essential services. What's the impact in Rwanda?
Well, we are equally impacted by the COVID-19. As we talk now, we have total lockdown in the entire country, and it's impacting everything. It's impacting the education system, it's impacting the health system, it's impacting the economy. Actually, it's impacting almost every aspect of the society in Rwanda.
Seems such a crazy situation, doesn't it, to imagine that this has kind of come really in the last month and then just hit across the world. I do see there's very few recorded cases of COVID-19 in Rwanda. Do you think that's a result of the lack of testing, or do you think it's not as prevalent there yet?
Well, I think as of now, we have 104 confirmed cases. I think the testing is being done properly, but we have other issues. For example, we have issues that are related with the COVID. As I told you, we have the lockdown, but lockdown means a lot in Rwanda because we have so many people that are not dependent on a contract, who have to work and then get money and buy some food. So when there is lockdown, the situation here is actually quite different from the situation in your end, because here, if people don't go to work, they can't have food. They are not like myself or like another person who is on a contract, who can get money, whether he or she has gone to work or not. So there are also other issues, like as we are in lockdown, children both in town and the rural setup are supposed to study online, but we have a challenge of access to internet. And you can imagine I'm even having issues with the internet when I'm based in Kigali. So imagine somebody who is based in Nyamagabe, where you are supporting a program. Access to internet is a big challenge. And we also have other issues, like as I was telling you in a few minutes ago, we have crossed the non-essential services. So people can't go to the market, people can't go to shops, apart from a few services like the banks and the health centers and the hospitals. But other businesses are closed down. And so we have people who are dependent on casual labor. So if they can't do casual labor and they can't sell a few things in the markets, then life is paralyzed.
Tell me what you think this means really for the women down in near Mugabe, which is where we have our self-help groups. How will they be actually just surviving right now?
I can assure you they survive it down in Nyamagabe, where we have the self-help groups that are supported through GDG, is not easy, because you see, a lot of women in the self-help groups are dependent on casual labor, and now they cannot do casual labor anymore because people are not allowed out of their houses. So if they can't do casual labor, then it is not easy for them to get some money. Again, there is no social gathering, and the group members consider self-help group meeting as a platform for saving, a platform for idea generation, a platform for sharing information. And to them, when there is no social gathering, if they can't meet in their groups, actually life is at stake. Because if they got the groups, that is where they can get their loans, that is where they can get information, that is where they can get some ideas. And now there is no social gathering, which means to them, they've actually lost a lot of important things. And then the markets are closed down. Because markets are closed down, people in the self-help groups cannot take the crafts that they make, they can't take them to the market. And they can't also take their food stuff to the market because they are not allowed to move from one place to another. And that means the profit margin of their products is very minimal. So life is very challenging. But besides that, when you come to the idea of prevention, telling local people and the self-help members that they should keep on washing their hands every 40 minutes, it's not easy because they don't have running water, they don't have other washing facilities like soap and sanitizers and so forth. So life is very hard for them. They are trying to cope up, but it's not easy.
And I think this is what, you know, in the West, you know, we're getting these lists of instructions about isolation and social distance and even washing your hands, and it seems so normal to us, but it's doable to us. At least it's doable. But I think about the developing world and in these remote communities, it's just, they may be good ideas. What do you think are the solutions that you at AEE, what kind of things could you do for the women who we know out in those self-help groups to help them to, you know, get through this period and then actually have a business to kind of, and a self-help group to revitalize once the restrictions reduced?
Well, what we are trying to do now is to make sure that we protect the group members. And how are we doing that? So we are trying to use the Christian radios because majority of the people in the country listen to the radios. We are trying to use the Christian radios to disseminate information to the women down in the rural areas. We have also built up what we call the phone tree. So we have the phone numbers of the self-help group leaders. We have the phone numbers of the Cluster River Association leaders. We have the phone numbers of the federation members, and we are trying to ensure that at least they get the information about what is happening. But we're also trying to encourage them that despite the challenge they are facing, they have to embrace the prevention measures that have been set up by the government because it is to their own advantage. And we have also appointed a focal person at our level as an organization to ensure that the self-help members get the same and consistent information about how they can prevent themselves from getting the COVID-19. So that is on the prevention part. But the other thing we are doing is that we are trying to fight against other endemic conditions that can affect the immune system. Because, you know, a lot of people in the developing world are also having other issues of non-communicable diseases like malaria, like anemia, and also a lot of other people are having issues with HIV and AIDS, which can actually affect the immune system, and that would put them in an awkward position, like what is happening elsewhere in the world. The elderly people, the ones who are affected the most because of their weak immune system. So much as we have a young population, we are having issues with other endemic conditions that can actually affect the immune system. So we are trying to also to fight against those other endemic conditions that can affect the immune system. And I think what we also need to do is to make sure that we complement the group initiatives and ensure that they are part of the broader program response. Because the self-help members are trying to support their colleagues who don't have food. They have organized themselves, they are distributing food amongst themselves, but you know, they cannot do that for long. So we need to ensure that food chain supply is taken care of. We need to ensure that the members of the self-help groups are also connected to other responses in the community. And so we are trying to ensure that the grassroots leadership and the other stakeholders are also part of, they put the self-help group members in the equation so that they don't miss out. But I think as soon as
you're saying all of this, it's kind of, it sounds like it's such a complicated response, you know, that you need to, it's the communication lines, both within the groups, then in the village, and then even with other agencies to make sure that the women are going to survive this and that they actually can look after their children during this period.
Yes. But I think we also need to think about what if we are lucky and then the crisis comes to an end. I think what we need to do is to make sure that we respond to the issues that have been putting women at a disadvantage, the self-help members at a disadvantage. As we talk now, every other person in the city setup and the centers is using the online banking. You know, that is a jargon to the self-help members. So we need to think of how do we make sure that maybe we help the self-help group members to digitalize their savings so that they don't have to depend on going to the bank and queue up, but rather use their handsets, their mobile phones, because majority of them have mobile phones, and do the saving on the phones and do the withdrawal on the phones. That is something that we need to think about. As soon as the circumstances change, it's something that we need to look into. But we also need to make sure that we kind of help members themselves to recover from the shock, because now they are not doing anything in their business. And I'm sure as soon as the circumstances change, they're going to have an issue of liquidity. So their businesses will not survive. So we need to think of how do we make sure that we actually help these women who will have spent a lot of their meager resources on just coping up with the circumstances that are unprecedented. We help them to get out of those shocks. So those are some of the things that which I think we need to think about.
They sound great. And our government has invested a lot back into the economy, even at this time, in anticipation of when this is over, that there'll actually be businesses to continue and potential employment to continue. And I think about that for these women. So I think it actually, as you say, it's something to really think about. How do we ensure that they get access to their funds, which is this online banking, and not relying on coming together as the group in these extraordinary circumstances, but also how do we actually invest back into the group some finances so that there is going to be the liquidity problem is not going to exist and they can't even continue their businesses when they come out. So, gosh, John, I mean, we're all reeling under it here. I can only imagine what people live in remote rural circumstances when they're not actually getting the information, are really not sure of the impact, must be wondering how on earth they're going to come out the other side of this one.
Yeah.
Well,
information is sharp. I was going to say that actually information gap, as I already mentioned, is a big challenge to the women's self-help groups. So much as we are trying, they still have that challenge.
No, I can hear that. And I mean, as we're saying, the internet here is a struggle in Kigali. Can you imagine what it's like out in those rural areas when it's just so limited, and most of us are getting all of our information via those kind of channels. So look, I just want you to know that we're might be on the other side of the world, but we feel as deeply as ever about the situation that you're facing and that the people of Rwanda are facing. And we are just so much wanting to partner in telling you how much we care, telling you that we're going to do everything we can to actually participate in helping here. And we're incredibly, we actually find it such an absolute wonder that we all get to connect with each other, even from the other side of the world, and let you know that bit of information from us. It might be on the other side of the world, but we really care deeply. And we want you to know we're going to do everything we can to assist and to help AEE do what it really become the hands and feet who get out there to the villages and provide that information and provide that resourcing and help wherever you can.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's brilliant. So let's say goodbye till we meet again.
Thank you so much, and bye. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, of course we will. Of course we will. Thanks, John. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.